Today, we'll explore how to use Claude AI, a strong competitor to ChatGPT. You'll learn how to customize Claude's writing style to match your own, tap into its personality to receive thoughtful advice, use it as a tool to learn coding, and most importantly, understand when to choose Claude over ChatGPT and vice versa. Once on the home page, enter your personal or work email, then click Continue with Email, or alternatively, choose to continue with Google. Check your inbox and click the sign-in link to proceed. You'll be prompted to confirm you're at least 18 years old. Once you're through, select personal use if prompted, answer a few more questions, and you'll be in. The prompt area is where you'll be entering your requests for Claude. You can change models using the menu at the bottom of this area. For our purposes, we'll stick with Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Let's try a prompt together. Place your cursor in the prompt area and ask Claude to write a suspenseful 200-word short story set during a rainstorm. Press Enter to submit. In a moment, Claude will return a story for you, but Claude can do much more. Take, for example, a photo. Suppose you want to identify the types of cows in the photo. You can simply drag and drop the image into the prompt area and ask Claude to analyze it. Press Enter or click the arrow to get your answer. The response will appear when you scroll down. One interesting trait of Claude is its unique personality. Not only does it identify the cows, but it may also comment on the scenery or even guess the location where the photo was taken. So far, these examples may seem simple, something ChatGPT could also handle. So, what really sets Claude apart? We'll compare the strengths and weaknesses of both, but first, let's touch on something more personal. In my experience, ChatGPT's responses often feel more robotic, frequently structured in outlines or lists. Claude, by contrast, feels more like conversing with a trusted mentor or professor. It also tends to be more cautious when it's uncertain, using hedging language more often. Now let's move into clearer, measurable differences. Start by opening a new chat. Move your cursor to the left sidebar and click Start New Chat at the top. Next, let's look at adjusting writing styles. Up to now, we've been using Claude in its standard mode, but you can also instruct it to be concise, explanatory, or formal. Let's see how this works by giving it a prompt. I need help writing an email to my boss asking for time off after an all-nighter. Claude returns a fairly detailed email. It makes the point well, but perhaps it's a bit too long. Let's try switching the writing style to concise and ask Claude to rewrite the email. The result is clearly shorter and more direct. What's helpful here is that you can highlight any part of the response and ask Claude to revise or clarify it with a new prompt. Still, now we may find the message too brief. Neither concise nor the other preset styles, explanatory or formal, quite hit the mark. Thankfully, you can create your own custom writing style by selecting the option to create and edit styles. To create a custom writing style, click the large Create Custom Style button. The easiest way to set up a new style is by providing examples of the tone and structure you want. You can either upload a document or paste content directly into the system. Let's paste some example emails and click Create Style. Claude will then take a few moments to analyze the text and extract the style. Once it's done, we'll be presented with the results. In this case, it's called Casual Pro, which blends approachable communication with clear and professional messaging. If you'd like, you can rename the style by clicking on it, or you can edit it directly by selecting Edit with Claude. Here, you can refine the style further by using prompts. Alternatively, clicking Options and selecting Edit Style manually will reveal the exact instructions Claude is using to generate the style. Once you've made your adjustments, click Save Changes and then close the window. You can reset the style by using the drop-down menu and selecting the style you've created. Next, let's try the custom style by asking Claude to rewrite the email again. With the adjustments made, the email is much closer to what we want. There are still a couple of things to tweak, like removing unnecessary phrases or emojis, but refining the writing style can make sure those don't show up again in the future. Now that we've explored custom styles, let's move on to using AI for advice, which is another common application. We'll do a live comparison between Claude and ChatGPT to see which one offers advice that resonates best. Start by clearing the current chat. Then, let's set up the same prompt for both AIs. For this example, we'll use an ethical dilemma, a Robin Hood scenario. A man robs a bank but donates the stolen money to an orphanage. Should you report the crime if you know who committed it? Both ChatGPT and Claude recognize the dilemma, noting two main options, along with some nuance and potential middle ground. However, Claude's response is less robotic and feels more like advice from a trusted mentor, which makes it stand out. Let's try another, more practical scenario. You have to work with a toxic co-worker who took credit for your ideas on a past project. Now, your boss has assigned you to work with them again. What should you do? In this case, ChatGPT offers more advice, but Claude asks more thoughtful questions, helping you consider which aspects of the situation concern you most. Whether you prefer the style of advice from Claude or ChatGPT is a matter of personal preference. Moving on to coding, let's try a new chat in both environments. In ChatGPT, I'll open a new chat and we'll compare how both AI platforms respond to a coding question. Let's say you want to learn how to use CSS to style a web page, specifically by using a live demo or playground, which lets you experiment with code and immediately see the results. When asked the same question, the two AIs respond very differently. Claude creates an actual CSS playground for us, allowing us to interact with the code directly. ChatGPT, on the other hand, explains how to use an existing playground but doesn't generate a live demo. Let's look at Claude's response in more detail. In this interactive CSS playground, we can modify properties like the border style. The ability to see real-time changes in Claude's playground makes it a powerful tool for learning. To demonstrate the interactive nature of Claude's CSS playground, let's try adjusting the font size. When you change the font size using the controls provided, you'll see the text size update instantly. It's worth noting, though, that this is not a live editor, so you can't make direct changes to the code here. However, I did ask Claude how to modify the code directly, and it created a new playground for me where I could edit the CSS myself. Now that we've covered the basics, let's have some fun. For nostalgia's sake, I asked Claude to show me how to make a Pong game. When I ran the preview, the game appeared, and I had a go at playing against myself, though I wasn't exactly great at it. This is definitely one of the areas where Claude excels, offering hands-on learning and fun projects. But of course, no tool is perfect. Let me show you a few of Claude's limitations. Let's open a new chat and compare it to ChatGPT once again. The first drawback is that Claude can't generate images. When I asked both AIs to create an image, Claude responded by saying it couldn't do it, while ChatGPT was able to generate the requested image. Another limitation is that Claude can't access the internet. When I asked both AIs when Dame Maggie Smith died, ChatGPT gave the correct answer. She passed away a few months ago, while Claude incorrectly thought she was still alive. While ChatGPT also had this limitation early on, it wasn't a deal breaker back then. However, there's one limitation that really stands out to me as a deal breaker: message limits. In Claude, you're given a set number of messages every 5 hours. If you're using Claude Pro, the entry-level paid tier, you'll get about 45 messages in that time if your conversations are short. But if your chats are long or require lots of context, that number could drop to as few as 15 messages, which is a significant limitation. And while ChatGPT also has message limits on its paid plan, I rarely encounter them, and if I did, there are options to work around them. For me, this is a major disadvantage with Claude. Despite these drawbacks, you might still find Claude valuable for specific tasks like coding, coaching, writing, and even in those rare moments when ChatGPT may fall short. Instead of debating whether Claude or ChatGPT is better for coding, I use Poppy AI, which gives me access to both plus other models. This lets me choose the best AI for each specific coding task. Watch my complete beginner's tutorial on this channel to see how Poppy AI can help you speed up just about any task.